Hi. Hello. Hi, Amanda. Hi. Amanda and I have been getting together and talking about women's health and Pilates and gut health and things like that. And we've been having some fabulous conversations. But one we had recently was just all about reducing like anxiety and stress and what we can both do in our modalities of nutrition and Pilates to just really help a person, especially at the moment, because so many of the people we're seeing in my clinic and in Amanda's Pilates studio, or virtually seeing, there's a lot more stress and anxiety out there. So we had this fabulous conversation recently about it, and we just felt we wanted to share it with you. So I am going to introduce myself very briefly, if you don't know me already, and then Amanda will introduce herself, and then we'll talk through with you about what it was that we felt would make a difference. Small things, easy things. Well, I'm Emma Ellice-Flint, and I'm a nutritionist and a nutritional therapist. I practice currently in the UK and work with the Newson Health Clinic there. And I was a chef in Australia, actually, and I was just trying to investigate more about health, and so I did a degree about 10 years ago in nutritional therapy and nutritional medicine. And so I've arrived now here in the UK teaching online a lot about nutrition and health and how it impacts everything to do with our life, not just our physical body, but our mental health. And I run workshops and have private clinics. And so Amanda, here we go, who's my fabulous Pilates teacher, she'll tell you a little bit about her journey to this point.
Thanks Emma. I am a Pilates teacher. I trained with Body Control Pilates back in 2005, I think it was. So I teach one-to-ones and small group classes, and it's very much about getting people to move in a functional way that they can incorporate that into their everyday life. So it's not just about coming to that class once a week and then you forget it the rest of the week. So you really incorporate that into just your everyday, as you go about your everyday life. And I find that a big demographic of my clients is the kind of perimenopausal, menopausal age. Like Emma was saying, particularly now, there's an even added layer of uncertainty, which can lead to anxiety and just feeling generally a bit overwhelmed. And equally with the food, with the movement, it can be just as good for your mental well-being as your physical health, just to keep that movement practice going.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing. That's exactly right, Amanda. We were sharing both of our perimenopause journeys, and I'm now in menopause, and we were just sharing our experiences and just how that added layer, it just exacerbates the situation sometimes. And then now that we're in the COVID world, there's a lot of people wandering around just very nervous and anxious. Let's begin. I was just chatting with you, Amanda, about what helps. So when someone's a bit anxious or stressed, that actually upsets their digestion. And funnily enough, what happens is that stress that might go on, or that anxiety feelings, that actually reduces our digestive enzymes. So the mental stress or anxiety actually reduces the digestion going on in our gut. And what is really helpful to do is enhance that digestion. And the best ways of doing it is through perhaps sprinkling some apple cider vinegar on your meals, or having even a little tiny shot, like 10 mils of apple cider vinegar before a main meal. That really stimulates the digestion, gets the digestive enzymes going. I'm making my own, there they are. I'm making my own apple cider vinegar at the moment. I know. And I made some just the other day. And I'll actually be showing everyone in my fermented food workshop how to make apple cider vinegar. But apple cider vinegar, or vinegars, generally stimulate the digestion. So does lemon and lime juice. So does herbs, fresh herbs, dried herbs, spices. But also chewing. The action of chewing is incredible, because the action of chewing, not only does it stimulate your digestion and makes the gut function better, But chewing is relaxing. The action of chewing your jaw is profoundly relaxing. So we want to chew more and be calmer at the table when we eat. So I think that's one of the tips I would definitely share with people. That's really
not quickly rushing your food.
Absolutely. And Amanda, you were talking to me about some things that you certainly find in Pilates movement that really helps. So can you share that with us?
Yeah, so just as you've mentioned about the jaw and chewing, Emma, something that I notice a lot is that people hold tension a lot around the jaw. So often in a class, and I didn't mention at the beginning that my classes are largely online at the moment. So even if you're not in East Sussex, where my studio is, people can find me online and join one of the online classes. But yeah, carrying a lot of tension around the jaw is quite common. So when we come to lying on the mat, lying on your back, and that is called the relaxation position, where you're just meant to let everything kind of go and just let go of any unwanted tension. I do bring their attention to their jaw, because often people can be kind of clenching their teeth and just really quite tense around there. So just letting that go. But the breath can be really helpful in, well, breathing efficiently is of course really good for enhancing your Pilates movement, but just breathing in terms of resetting your system and just calming everything down can be so helpful. So we could do that now, if you like. I can talk you through that. So you can either lie down if you want to be completely relaxed, just lying on your back with your feet planted into the floor and knees bent. You can easily do this standing, sitting on a chair, but I'll do this for now, just seated. And however you're comfortable to sit, so you can be cross-legged or just legs out straight, however you're comfortable. If you are in a seated position, just want to be careful that you're not dropping back to your pelvis. So you're not, for example, making your legs straight and not able to hold that position. So just be in a comfortable seated position. If you want cushion under you, that's fine. You want to have a sense of your sitting bones, those bony parts in each bum cheek, really dropping down into the chair or the mat. So you've got that sense of grounding down, and then trying to lift up through your pelvis and spine and out through the crown of the head. So as if you have a heavy book on your head and you're trying to just press that up as your sitting bones are pressing down. So that alignment, just that sense of lifting up, can just also help to get a bit more space to breathe around your rib cage. Arms can just relax comfortably, and let your shoulder blades go down the back. So we don't want them up here. Sorry, equally, you don't want to force them down your back, just let them glide down. And you're going to take a fairly deep, slow breath in. So for about a count of 5, I would breathe in. And then breathing out for a count of 5. And just keep that going. So you're breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you want to try and think of directing your breath into the sides and back of your rib cage. So rather than breathing shallowly up here into the chest and shoulders, keep the shoulders relaxed. You can think of your rib cage a bit like an accordion. It's going to expand out to the sides and back as you breathe in, filling your lungs with air. And as you breathe out, the ribs close back in. And it can be helpful just to hold the rib cage here, or like this, so you can feel your ribs. And breathing in, feel your ribs expand into your hands. Breathing out, the ribs close And if you really want to try and connect with that breath, it can be helpful to shut your eyes so you can really focus on where you're sending that breath low down into your lungs, expanding the ribs out to the sides, into the back. And if you're not used to doing this kind of lateral thoracic breathing, you might not feel much movement in those intercostal muscles, not much movement in the rib cage. It's just something to be aware of and start to work towards. And you keep that sense of the sitting bones dropping down into the ground or the chair, and the crown of the head lengthening up. So your spine is long and you've got space to breathe. And I'm not even thinking about any of that core stability stuff, but naturally, as you breathe out, you might start to feel your abdominals engaged, drawing in towards your spine. But this can be really calming, just to sit, stand, or lie down and breathe like this. And it's an efficient way of breathing, so you really get the full, using the full volume of your lungs to get that expansion around the ribs.
Gosh, Amanda, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm just doing that with my eyes shut.
Yeah, I can see.
Wow. And it was just, I already feel so much more relaxed.
Yeah, it's really simple, isn't it? And
it's so simple, but I always forget to do that in the day. Oh, I'm going to do it.
I think you can easily do that, literally, like put the kettle on, you're waiting for it to boil. Just stand there, shut your eyes and breathe. Don't worry about what anyone else thinks. They'll probably be thinking, I want to do that as well. It's just really helpful to reset.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you. Thanks very much for that. That was, gosh, just in that moment there when I was closing my eyes and breathing and I was feeling my ribs, I felt calm. Yeah, I think it's your voice as well. I wish you could be with me all the time. Mind you, I guess we've got very stressful lives. Sometimes it ebbs and flows, and I know you have. You've got kids at school, you've got elderly, aging, like parents to look after. You have a flourishing Pilates studio, even if it's virtual most of the time. It's just, whoa, you juggling away. So anyway, Amanda, I wanted to share with you another thing. When we were talking about food before, I was thinking through about anxiety and the fact that what goes on in our gut and in fact inflammation in our body, how it really affects our mood and things like that. What I've read in research and I've seen in my clinic as well is that eating generally anti-inflammatory foods, which is a big sweeping statement, but that really affects our mood beneficially. And I've actually seen research now on humans, not just rats and mice, on humans that actually back this up. Eating anti-inflammatory foods. I've got a food and mood workshop on World Mental Health Day coming up actually very soon, and I'm really going to hone in on this. But I wanted to show you one thing, and I think you might have tried these snacks before. These are some of my favourite ways to get anti-inflammatory foods in. And these are the kind of, they're nut seed, lentil balls, and they're a bit too Moorish. They're probably really good. And sometimes what I do is I even flatten them out and I make kind of vegan like patties with them, and I fry them, and they're like my vegan burgers. But they're really good. And
what's the basis in them?
Basis is seeds, lots of seeds. So the anti-inflammatory oils and seeds are there. But also there's lentils in there, and lentils have fibre in them, soluble and insoluble, and they help the gut do its job. And funnily enough, the gut's got plenty of fibre, gentle fibre, soluble fibre, as well as insoluble fibre. It's going to function better, and if it functions better, then actually that reduces the inflammation throughout the body, not just in the gut. It's quite a profound thing, and really beneficially affects our mood. And then there's protein in here, and our brain health is, as well as our whole body health, enjoys protein. There's other nutrients in here, minerals in here like zinc, which actually are important for our brain health as well. So, you know, they're just one of those snacks that I know are going to tick that box, absolutely tick that box for health.
Chocolate anti-inflammatory. Is chocolate anti-inflammatory?
Oh, well, it's funny you say that.
For your amazing dark chocolate balls.
Well, actually, all right, if we're on that subject, that's my food and mood workshop. We're going to be making these very intense dark chocolate balls. But I made something the other day, which is a fig and ginger slice.
Oh, that's my favourite, Emma.
Oh, good. I wish you were with me, then you could eat it. And this fig and ginger slice, I make it because it tastes sweet. But the thing with it, the reason I make it is because it kind of communicates to your kind of taste buds that you're eating something sweet, but it's not got a whole heap of sugar in it. So let me try and show you up on the screen. That's the ginger slice. So the fig and ginger slice is made with dried figs, and it's got fresh ginger in. Ginger's great anti-inflammatory in the gut. Then it's got pumpkin seeds, which have got the anti-inflammatory oils in them and the zinc in them. Then it's got almonds in them, which have oils, beneficial anti-inflammatory oils in. But they also have, for instance, vitamin E in them. Vitamin E is fantastic, and like a free radical scavenger. And so it goes on. I'll be talking much more about this in the workshop. But I thought that I would point that out to people, that eating an anti-inflammatory way is really beneficial to our mood, and it actually can help enhance that mood. It's good, it's important. But Amanda, what about kind of tension? You talked about the breathing, but there's anything I do, kind of just simple exercise I can do in my body to kind of get rid of any tension, or what's a favorite one of yours?
Yeah, so well, there's so many Pilates exercises that are great for that, whether you've got shoulder tension, lower back, so I can be very specific about that, but just generally, like you were saying about the importance of anti-inflammatories and how that can help to improve your mood, I think just moving your body is so great for improving that feeling. And you might be feeling a bit sluggish and thinking, oh, I really don't feel like doing anything. And especially on a day like today, so I've just gone and taught an outside class at Bedgebury, and in the pouring rain, I had so many messages this morning going, are you cancelling? I think they were hoping in a way that it would be cancelled. Like, no, come on, let's do this, let's get out. And interestingly enough, I think I had the largest numbers in a group that I've had recently. So I think
wow, really surprising.
Yeah, but wrapped up in layers and waterproofs, but just getting out there in the fresh air as well, but moving your body, just you get this sense of energy, and it doesn't have to be anything particularly vigorous or high impact. So there's a really nice one called spine curls. I'm just going to move that down so you can see the mat. So a spine curl, you want to be lying down on the back. You can see me okay here, can't you?
Yes, I can see you fine.
So feeling your weight through your toes, not just the heels. So if your feet are too far away, you're not going to feel that weight through your toes. So you want to bring the heels in towards the bottom a little bit. And then just making sure that you're not going into a tilt with your pelvis and losing your lumbar curve there. You want to feel your tailbone on the mat, but your lumbar curve is still here. And you might need a little cushion or a towel just to lift the head. You want to have your chin parallel to the floor. And feel your shoulder blades again, not forcing them, but gently gliding them down the back, and your arms relaxed at the side of you. So this is the relaxation position that I was referring to, and it's actually quite nice just to lie in this position, feeling your thigh bones dropping down into your hip sockets, letting go of any tension around the knees and the thighs, and just taking a moment to do that breathing that we did there. So you're thinking of the breath coming through the back and sides of your ribs, like you're sending that breath down into the mat really, and just really let all that tension just melt down into the mat. But your spine curl is just really getting some movement through your spine. You start with the pelvis tilting, so you feel your lower back lengthen and imprinting that lower back in towards the mat. And you just continue to work your way up your spine, bone by bone, and you are keeping your ribs connected to your waist. You just don't want to just let the ribs flare up. You're keeping that control there. You come up, you take a breath, and then as you breathe out, really try and soften down through your breastbone, and you work your way back down your spine, bone by bone. So you're coming back through your lumbar spine, not forgetting your pelvis. So it's very easy to just leave it there, but you haven't gone all the way back through to neutral pelvis. So you come through with your sacrum and the tailbone drops right back. So I'm back to that neutral where my lumbar curve is still there. So I would breathe in and breathe out. You go through that tilt and you peel that spine off bone by bone. Taking a breath at the top, shoulders nice and relaxed, jaw relaxed, no tension in the neck. And as you breathe out, you just feel your way back down through your spine. And what can happen is the back of the legs, the hamstrings, get a bit crampy and start to overwork. So if that happens, you can just bring your feet a little bit closer in and think of the toes pushing away from you along the mat. So it's just a sense of mobilizing the spine, a bit like a wave-like motion coming up. Breathe in and breathing out, coming back down through that, all the way back through to your neutral position.
Fantastic.
Spine curl.
Gosh, I could almost feel each of your spine bones, or whatever they're called, but moving onto the mat. It was like almost your own massage there. Oh, yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really, really, really good. Really good, Amanda. Let me move this. Oh gosh, let me move this slice out.
Pass it to me this way.
I wish. I think there was just one other thing I wanted to mention. I mean, I could go on for ages, which is why I run a workshop about food and mood. But one of the things that is so fundamental, I think, and I think we hear about it too often in, just in the news and in like magazines or whatever, wherever. And we hear about green leafy vegetables. And we hear about them so much that I think everyone's become a little bit glazed about eating them and don't realize their profound goodness for our bodies. I really feel that everyone should eat a green leafy vegetable every day. Now, the thing is, people think, oh, okay, well, that means I've got to have spinach every day. Well, hang on. I was just going to sort of say, to those of you who are listening, just don't think of spinach as the only green leafy vegetable in the UK, say, or wherever you're listening from. And this is kale, which I'm lucky enough to have growing in the garden. It's very forgiving. I'm always plucking off leaves from it and it kind of comes back up. There's kale and there's chard, and then there's other green leafies, like there's the tops of carrots and the tops of beetroot. Eat those.
Can you include herbs in that, Emma, like coriander, parsley?
Yes, exactly, you see. So what people don't realise is green leafy vegetables are also leafy herbs like basil and coriander. And they're fantastic. They're fantastic for our bodies. Then there's watercress and rocket and things like that. So green leafy vegetables, there's quite a big list. And then there's bok choy and choy sum and Chinese broccoli and things like that. And so I think it's important for people to not forget it, because eating green leafies every day is incredibly good for our mood and our mind and our brain health. And I'll be going, as I say, I'll go into more details about that in my workshop. But it's really, really good. Plus it has things like vitamin B12 in it, which is really important for our mood, as well as other actions in our body connected with, for instance, energy. And so I really wanted to bring it home to people how important these green leafies are. They're every day. One of them every day, or more than one every day. And better still, you can just take some of these greens chop them up and saute them in a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, because actually then you absorb many more of the nutrients from them than if you had them. There used to be a craze, do you remember, people would take the leaves of kale and they call it bruising them.
Yeah.
Very funny. And yeah, I guess you got rid of the kind of a, sometimes big kale leaves are a little bit chewy, and this is quite young kale, so I'm all right. And they would bruise it, and then they'd make a salad out of it. And look, that's nice. It did certainly taste better than the raw, unbruised kale. But in fact, if you take that kale and you toss it in a fry pan with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, you might add garlic and onions and whatever else into it, and that adding it and cooking it slowly like that in a pan means that you absorb all those beneficial nutrients in here. So the phytonutrients and the vitamin A and B12 and things like that, you absorb them far more easily in your gastrointestinal tract. So it's really good. It's really important.
That's more beneficial than having it raw, you're saying?
Yes, much more. Herbs seem to be a bit different because you chop them up generally and they're okay. But generally, green leafy vegetables, much better to just lightly cook them or lightly wilt them. And then you absorb the nutrients. Really great for our mood, so beneficial. Anti-anxiety nutrients in these, oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I have been trying to eat more of those, get them in to every meal actually.
Yeah, I know. It is something you just kind of have to get into the habit of. And then you kind of wouldn't be without a day without some sort of green leafy something.
No, because actually they have a lot of flavour, don't they? So they make it.
They do. Especially I find when I saute them with a little bit of garlic and olive oil, I think that's actually delicious now. My taste buds are so used to it, and I crave it now.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it is. Really
definitely adapt, don't they?
Yes, absolutely. Now, Amanda, have you got one last movement or something you just want to share with everybody?
Yeah, I was thinking of showing you the arm opening exercise, because I know you were mentioning about upper body tension, and this is just really nice for opening out the chest. I mean, we spend so much time looking down at our phones or sitting at a computer, whatever we're doing, we're quite often in this kind of hunched over position. So it's really nice to open out here. Again, think about that breath going into the ribs to help calm your system. So I'm just going to angle that down slightly again so you can see me. So I'm going to demonstrate this using a little head cushion, because you want to have that good alignment. So you can just use anything you have to have your head lifted here. And then you want shoulder over shoulder, hip over hip, so just making sure that you are in that good position for the pelvis and spine. The knees should be bent about 90 degrees in front of your hips. And then you bring your arms out in front of you here. And just be careful that your shoulders haven't crept up to your ears. You want to draw them again down your back. So as you breathe in, you're going to reach this top arm out and up. Your head is going to stay heavy and it's just going to roll to follow this hand. So as you breathe out, you're reaching long through this arm, you're opening across the chest, and I can really feel that in my thoracic spine and across the chest here. And when you need to breathe in again, you then float the arm up, and then breathing out, you bring it back down. So I would really try to breathe deeply and slowly, like we did at the beginning. And you're not aiming to just drop this arm down to the floor behind you. It's more a sense of really lengthening out this arm from your shoulder, so you're getting as much space as you can in here. And if you could try to keep the knees together, hip over hip, you're going to get this bit of spinal rotation in there as well. So it really helps to open up that space there. Then you come back down. And actually, this is a nice exercise to do, even before you get out of bed in the morning, if you've got enough space, just move your partner out of the way, and just to open in here, get a little bit of movement going through the upper back. And then you would obviously roll over and do the same to the other side. So that's arm openings. And if you don't have anything to hand for your head, you can always interlink your fingers, and you've made this support for your head. And you would do the same thing, just leading with your elbow. And you roll your head in your hands. Again, you're really trying to soften across those collarbones and open up in the chest without lifting your head. So just let your head roll naturally. That is actually one of my favourite exercises.
That's just fantastic. Thank you. Actually, one of my favourites as well. I do that, I think, at every Pilates class I attend of yours. We do that, I'm pretty sure.
Try and get that in, yeah.
And opening up there, oh my gosh. Yes, I might go away and do that too. That's fantastic. Amanda, thank you.
That was great talking to you, Emma.
That's all right. I think we could talk on for ages, and I know we've talked about headaches, and I think we might do another one of these with the theme of headaches and how to help reduce headaches. That would be good, and we'll also look at perimenopause as well. Yeah.
Bone health.
So definitely bone health. We'll do a lot on both health. We've already been collaborating on that, and hopefully we'll have a kind of an ebook together to share soon. If I can kind of hurry up and finish off my writing. So yes, there's a lot coming up. Excellent, Amanda. Thank you. And I hope everyone listening here is enjoying it. We'll put some notes in with the video of where to reach Amanda, where to reach me. I'll put a link to the recipe for these lovely seed balls, which are very anti-inflammatory, and we'll just put some stuff in the notes for you. You can see how to get hold of us. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to be thinking about those chocolate ginger, lovely looking things now.
I know. Go away and eat some. Oh well. Make some this weekend with your kids.
Yeah. It's like a healthy version of a rocky road, isn't it? I can say this is kind of a rocky road, children. Just try it.
Absolutely right. I agree. Brilliant. All right, great. Okay, see you soon, Amanda. Bye. Bye.